I was in the park. I was riding my bike through the park, and I stumbled across this scene. There was at first I couldn't quite tell what it was. There were two people. They were kind of coming together, sort of making out in a celebratory sense. There was someone sort of watching them, maybe with a camera. At first I thought it was maybe like graduation, like a couple graduating together, taking pictures together. Turns out it was far worse. As I approach, I see the guy sliding a ring onto the girl's finger. The girl's crying. There is, in fact, someone taking pictures of them. The girl's like, with tears coming down her face, like, "Oh my gosh, did you plan all this?" He's like, "Yep, yes, I did." It was a marriage. It was a engagement, marriage, yeah. And I was like, as I rode by, I got all tense, and I was like, ugh, when that reaction when you see like a very happy couple, and it's like that tenseness, and I was like, ugh, humans are so gross, And then I was like, whoa, I'm glad I don't have a, like a counselor, what's it called? I'm glad I don't have a therapist, because that reaction right there, that disgust, we'd be unpacking that for at least the next 60 sessions, and I just don't have money like that. But that's not actually why I'm here. I'm here because something else happened to me. So what happened was, there was a spider in my apartment, and I've never killed spiders. I don't kill spiders. And yet I'm also a little bit scared of spiders. So since the beginning of time, since before the Romans conquered the Persian Empire, I've been, I grab a cup, I trap it, I put like a magazine on top of the cup, and I take it outside, right? I've probably done that 10,000 times in my life. And so I was doing the act, right? I had a glass cup, put the magazine on top, but then I was like, this magazine's a little flimsy. It was a big spider. It looked like it could have eaten half my hand if it wanted to. So I was like, I need something a bit more precocious. That's probably not the right word, but you know what I mean. So let me grab a book and just slide the magazine out, put a book on top. That way we're safe. We can walk out the apartment with more security, deposit the spider. Right, I was scared the spider might eat through the magazine. That's how big it was. The problem was that as I was doing the transfer from magazine to book, the huge glass cup fell off the table and fell to the ground and shattered into a million little pieces. I was pissed. Not because of the cup, not because of the magazine. I was pissed because I felt so bad for the experience that I just put that spider through for nothing, out of my cowardice. And I was like, oh, if I killed the spider on accident, and he was kind of crouching in a corner, and I was like, oh no. But luckily, he was moving around fine. I captured him again, I took him outside. But I did notice one thing happened, which is that one of his 8 legs was pretty smashed. It was pretty crushed. It was pretty done for. And there was solace in the fact that he was still moving around good. But I still felt bad. Like, damn, I just killed one of his legs. Like, imagine if a monster just came and killed one of your... I know we only have 2. He has 8. So it's kind of like, how many do you need, right? But at the same time, it's just... I felt bad. But it also got me thinking. It's not like spiders have memories, right? It's not like spiders remember their childhood. It's not like spiders remember what they ate for breakfast, right? So I'm looking at this spider with 7 legs. I'm like, does he remember? Does he even remember that he used to have 8 legs before I came along? Like, if he doesn't have a memory, there's a certain extent to which, at this moment in time, having 7 legs is all he knows. So I was like, is that possible? So I did slight quantities of research. And so what spiders definitely do have is they definitely, at least some of the bigger ones, definitely have a memory of sorts, right? It's not like an abstract memory, but it's like, say if they're looking at prey, if we've got like a jumping spider or something that preys on something smaller, and it goes behind a tree or it goes behind a leaf. The spider has, it's not really a memory, but like it knows that thing is still there, even though it's out of its sight. right? Because technically, if you had absolutely no memory and like no sort of mental image in your mind, like the moment prey went out of reach or like it hid behind something, you would have no concept of the fact that it was there. So the spider does have that. It also has, some spiders have, again, it's not quite a memory, but it's sort of an intuition. I don't know what it is. I did like 5 minutes of research as to like, oh, like I need to remember to patch up that side of my web because I just found a weak spot, right? So then they can know to go. Or even just an ability to find the web if they go out hunting, to come back and find the web that they built, right? It'd be pretty lame if every single day after going out and hunting for fish, you had to rebuild your web, right? Now, in terms of the case where, say, they lose a limb, right? Let's say, like our instance, guy has 8 legs, he loses one, now he has 7. They have this uncanny ability to adapt, right? Maybe at first he's a little wobbly, but they're constantly sensing sort of like an input sensory. And a spider very quickly is going to adapt its cadence to now walking on, say, 7 legs instead of 8. But the craziest part, this is what really tripped me out. It's that let's say you've got a jumping spider that lost more than 1 leg. Maybe he lost 4 or 5. And now he can't really do the same jumping motion. Let's say another spider used to be able to run really fast, had a severe injury. All its life, it spent running around at high speeds, jumping, doing whatever. Now it can't. Now it has to slowly crawl its way across the earth, trying to find nourishment. It has no recollection of the fact that it used to be a boss. It has no recollection of the speeds it used to go at, of the fact that maybe it used to be able to jump and now it can't, right? Which at first it's like, man, that's so sad. You imagine like the boss spider that can like run at 40 miles per hour and can like jump across buildings. He sustains a serious injury and now all they can do is just slowly crawl his way across the ground, right? It's crazy to think that this spider who's just, living his life, slowly crawling, has no idea of the boss he used to be. Like, he has no concept of the speeds he used to hit, of the buildings he'd jump over. Like, he has no idea he used to be Spider-Man. And now he's just a little crawler. And, at first it's like, man, that's sad, that's terrible. But it's like, it's ideal, in a way, to not have that memory. Because the memory of what could have been is really the thing that hurts, right? If that's all you know, he's just living his life. He's doing his thing. He has nothing to compare it to. You think about that trope. It's really common in like movies, superhero movies, action movies, any movie. Any of like the middle-aged man who's past his prime, the detective who's not quite as quick on his feet as he used to be, you name it. There's a million examples of this. And it's like this character who's defined by what his past was. And sometimes you wonder how much better their life would be if they just had no memory of the past, if they weren't comparing themselves to that. Because if you take it in isolation, like say like a middle-aged man who can walk, who has the ability to rationalize, to think, to do things, to act in the world, isn't starving to death, like there are a lot of worse lives. And if you just woke up like that one day, you might be able to have a lot of fun. But it's like the memory of once being the boss, once being at the top of the game, once being it, right? The spider doesn't have to deal with that. The spider can be an absolute boss one day, next day he can be at the bottom of the food chain, and it literally doesn't make a difference to him. So the moral of the story, I think, essentially is to just find a way to delete our memory. Because that thing holds us back like nothing else.